Get an oil container that can take up to 7 quarts. Slide it under the transmission oil pan so we can drain the transmission oil first. So use the 19mm short socket and 1/2" ratchet for the drain plug. Loosen the drain plug and let it all drain into your drain container. In the meantime, remove the O2 sensor cables and pop them out of the clips on both sides. Now unclip the O2 sensors from the back side brackets and reach out to the bolts with the 14" socket. You can disconnect the cables, the O2 sensors cables, so you can have enough room, or you can just push them away from the pan. Install the drain plug back in. So now next, start removing the oil pan bolts and leave a few bolts in there just to hold the oil pan up to help you not spilling the oil and make a mess basically. Remember the O2 sensor clips position and location so you can install them correctly later. These, as you're showing, is 2 clips on left side and right side. Now remove the rest of the bolts that holding the pan. So there is still more oil inside the pan. Try to drop the pan slowly and spill into the container so you don't make a mess. As you can see, probably still have about a quart inside the pan that did not drain out yet. So leave it for a couple minutes to drain until it's kind of clean. And this is the speed sensor, as you can see where I'm pointing at. So now, as you can see, I drained all the oil. Now let's remove the oil pan. Make sure you don't drop the oil pan. Take it down slowly. There's still oil in here. Yes, there's still more oil. Transmission oil. All right, transmission oil pan is out. As you can see, there's still more oil inside of it, but still good. I have a new oil, so I'm going to reuse this oil. And I have almost 6 quarts. As you can see, I don't know, it's not showing. Yeah, almost 6 quarts inside the transmission oil. My transmission oil level is good, but I'm going to add a little bit more later on when I put everything back together. All right, so this is the speed sensor. Comes from here all the way, so it's behind this transmission back case. So we need to remove the case over here in the back of the transmission, and this is bolted to the case, and we have the drive shaft over here. So we need to take the drive shaft from the transmission. We need to remove it away so we can have space, and we can remove the case, the back case of the transmission. Let's take the drive shaft out first, and we can come back to this right here. This metal is connected by 2 bolts, long bolts or nuts, one over here and one on this side. So now I'm in the back of the car. Where the drive shaft at? So the drive shaft is held by 18mm bolt and 17mm nuts in the back. Now let's remove the drive shaft from the differential. We got it down, and now let's pull it from the gear. Let's see how we can we pull it away. I don't have enough space to get the drive shaft out of the transmission because the differential in the way and the exhaust in the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to disconnect my exhaust from the back, this side and the other side, so I can have enough space to wiggle this down, and I'm going to have enough space to get the drive shaft down a little bit away from the differential and pull it out. Let's try that and see if I'm going to be able to do it. Okay, I removed the bolts that holding the muffler, the exhaust, so both sides. So now I have enough room, enough wiggle to remove the drive shaft. Let's try to take the drive shaft out of the transmission now. Okay, so I tried wiggling the exhaust, and I got the drive shaft away from the differential, but it's stuck now, and I cannot remove it. I cannot move it anywhere. So this is the first mistake. Take the exhaust out all the way from here, from the middle to the end. So I still have like 4 bolts to remove it. So let's do that. So I'm going to remove these 2 bolts that connected to the front pipes and the Cadillac, and remove it from the back. Let me unbolt it really quick and remove it so I can have the space that I need to remove the drive shaft out of the transmission. And the exhaust is removed. Now I have all the space that I need to remove the drive shaft out of the gear, the transmission. All right, let me remove it real quick. The drive shaft is out. Now let's go back to the transmission case and see what we have to do next. So I tried to take the bolts out of the back case of the transmission, these bolts, and trust me, it's not easy. I have to take this out. I got my jack stand over here supporting this side, and I got my jack on the other side, and just to hold the transmission in place, so I can take the bracket, the transmission mount. I'm gonna have to take it out first. So I have to take these bolts out. These two, these are the transmission mounted to, and these four is mounted to the frame. I have to take these out first, so I can have the whole case in front of me. That is going to be much easier, because trust me, I tried to take these out. It was so hard, and there is 6 more at the bottom, and you have to use a wrench to get them out. Even with the wrench, I couldn't get them out because I don't have enough space, no height, so I didn't have enough strength to get them out. So I have to take this out. All right, let me take this out first and show you the next step. So I am taking the bottom bolts. I loosen them with a wrench and a hammer because they're seriously tight inside. Let me take these bolts out and get back to you. Okay, so the bottom bolts, only 3. One of them, I was able to get it out, and 2 of them, they're actually hitting in this black bracket, but they're out of the threads. It's all the way out. So I don't think this is going to be a problem for us for now. Let me take the rest of the bolts, the top bolts. Sorry, you can see right now. Yes, these bolts. Let me take the bolts that holding the transmission case. Let me unbolt them and get back to you and see what's inside. As you can see, got the bolts out, all of them. All the bolts are out, and the case is connected to this bracket. And I can't, so what I did, so it's connected only from these bolts over here. So I don't have to take these bolts out. I only took these bolts that are mounted to the frame, and that's it. So now the case is free. So got the case out. All right, this is the speed sensor. It's out. Let's disconnect it from the bottom. Okay, disconnected the cable. Just push this in and pull out, and that's it. And let's see, how can we take this out? Just, you can see, you open, rotate this, and let's see which side. Oh, it's from here. Okay, and now pull it. Yay! I apologize for the frame of this video, this part of the video. So this is the sensor, and also this is the gasket for the pan and the filter for the transmission. All right, so time to replace them. So this is the sensor. So the connector side, you have to fish it through the hole and down to the bottom where it go to the oil pan and to the connector. Then you can put the sensor in its position and bolt it in. It's not really that hard. You just have to fish it through the right place. After fishing the sensor through the hole, just place the sensor back to a specific position. You can't get it wrong. And then just hand tight the bolt with your hand, and it's 10 mil. And I don't know about the torque specs. You have to find out. I'm not really worried about that. So the speed sensor is bolted in. Now let's connect the cable for it. And don't forget to put the cable in the clamps, the slack, and the clamp's going to hold it just in case you uninstall the oil pan and you're going to pinch it. So just make sure you put it back in the clamps. This is the speed sensor. It's connected. Everything is correct. And these are the clamps where the slack, the cable goes in, then is connected to the board. So next, clean up the transfer case from any debris or dirt. You don't want anything to go inside the transmission, right? I don't know the name of this part, but I'm just showing you, this is how it's supposed to be when you install the transfer case. It's supposed to be inside the gear or something like that. And you install the transfer case. Install the transfer case back on and make sure it's sitting flush so you can get the drive shaft back in smoothly and bolt the transfer case. As you can see right now, that's what I'm doing. Double check and make sure all bolts are tight and the transfer mount is connected to the frame now, so we can move into the drive shaft. So this is the drive shaft. We just have to connect it, slide it in into the transfer case shaft, and the differential, you just have to bolt it back in. You know the rest. The exhaust is back on. Don't forget about this step. Clean up the oil pan and the magnets that on it. Just make sure it's clean. This is where we add oil to the transmission. So take this screw out. You can change the oil pan seal, the gasket, if you want to. You can skip if yours is still good, but mine is not good, so I have to replace it. So it's on right now. You can skip this part. And also I'm gonna replace the oil filter as well, which is connected with these bolts as showing. Mine is kind of dirty, and so I have to replace it, and I got a new one. It's really cheap, so I just had to replace it anyway. This is the filter that I'm gonna replace, the new filter. And also, if you're replacing the filter, remember there is different sizes in the bolts. There is a 4 longer size, and the rest is medium size. And what I'm showing you right now here is the shortest bolt, which is in the corner in the back. That's the shortest bolt. Just make sure you put them back in the right way and the right location as well. You don't want to damage the solenoids or the board. So I really recommend that you replace the transmission oil filter, and this is why. Look at them. Look at the difference between the new one and the old one, and you are already there. I mean, you already opened everything, so why not just replace the filter? And this is the new filter. Just replaced it, and everything is on in correct position. So here I'm showing you where is the longest bolts goes. This one, that one, and the one that next to it. Yes, these are the longest bolts, and the rest is the medium sized bolts. And this one that I'm pointing at, this is the shortest bolt. This is where it go. Just don't mistake it or put the wrong bolts in the wrong location. Okay. Transmission oil pan is on right now. Bolted. I bolted the four corners first, so I can have both hands to work with, and so many bolts. I got the O2 sensors back, clipped in, connected, and inside the clamps, the holders or the clamps or whatever you call them. Now let's add transmission oil. So, as you know, oh, it's right there at the corner, the Allen bolt that I took out when I was cleaning the pan. You need a tube that you have to go inside it and pump oil to the inside. I'll show you how I do it my way. Now I'm gonna refill the transmission oil now. So you can get this pump from Harbor Tools, and this is gonna go inside the pan, the oil pan, and we're gonna push oil from the container to the oil transmission oil pan. So as you can see, the tube is inside the pan, and my pump is inside the container right here, and I'm pumping it to the transmission pan right now. It's gonna take time, so just be patient and keep pumping slowly. Don't do it fast, so you don't make a mess. And just make sure you have a second oil container that you can put it underneath the pan, so you don't make a mess like I did. So 7 quarts is what I needed. Now let's get this out. Let me get it out real quick. See, let it drain a little bit. Let it drain. Okay, it's gonna take a time with an Allen key. So this is the next step. What do you do? So you need to start the car, or you don't start the car. You need to turn on the car. Don't start it, turn it on, and shift the gears. Keep shifting them like that at least 10 times. Basically just do that, and hopefully you resolve your issue. So I'm done with this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you in any way, please hit the like button and subscribe. And I did my best, to be honest. This is my first time ever doing it, so I did my best, and I made a lot of mistakes, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, so you don't have to fall for the same mistakes that I did, and hopefully you can do it better. I couldn't find any video that can help with the transmission speed sensor, to be honest. That's why I decided to do this myself. I only found out the location of the transmission speed sensor. I only saw a video where it's located, and I had to go through all that. And I don't know if I did good or bad yet. I'm not gonna be able to test to drive the car today or tonight, but hopefully I can do it next week. So this is it for this video, guys. All right, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully it can help you in any way. Thank you so much. Bye.